Hello, everyone. Today I have something special for you. It's not just a listening practice, but a story that will inspire you to believe in hard work and self-belief. The story is called Nothing is Free, and it will show you that determination and effort can truly change lives. There once lived a young man named Leo. He was 20 years old and lived in a small, quiet town surrounded by mountains. Leo had big dreams. He wanted to own a chain of restaurants and become a successful entrepreneur. But life wasn't easy. His family struggled to make ends meet. His father, Mark, worked as a mechanic, and his mother, Claire, cleaned houses for extra income. Leo's little sister, Sophie, was only 10. But she looked up to him as her hero and believed he could do anything. One cold evening, Leo sat outside his small home, looking at the stars scattered across the dark sky. He wished he could give his family a better life, but he didn't know where to begin. They barely had enough to survive. The next morning, he gathered courage and shared his dreams with his father. Mark listened carefully and told him that dreams are never free, and if he truly wanted something, he had to fight for it. He said that even a small start could lead to something great if the heart was willing. Leo spent the rest of the day thinking deeply about those words. Then an idea came to him. He noticed that the people in his town loved fresh bread, but the nearest bakery was far away. He decided he would start selling bread locally, but there was one problem. He had no money to buy it. Still, he refused to give up. He decided to take a chance and walk miles to meet the bakery owner, Mr. Anderson, a grumpy old man known for trusting no one. When Leo reached the bakery, tired but hopeful, he explained his idea. He wanted to sell Mr. Anderson's bread in his town, but couldn't pay in advance. He asked the old man to trust him for just 1 week. If he succeeded, he would return the full payment and keep a small profit. Mr. Anderson studied him in silence. He was not used to such bold requests, but something about Leo's confidence and honesty caught his attention. After a long pause, he finally agreed and warned him not to come back if he failed. Leo was overjoyed. The next morning, before sunrise, he carried baskets of bread all the way to his town and set up a small stand near the park. He greeted everyone cheerfully, calling out about the fresh, warm bread he was selling. At first, people were unsure and passed by without buying. But Leo didn't give up. He offered free samples to let people taste the freshness. Slowly, curiosity turned into trust, and soon he made his first sale. By the end of the day, every loaf was gone. That evening, Leo walked back proudly to the bakery and handed the money to Mr. Anderson. The old man gave a small nod, recognizing the young man's honesty and determination, and told him to come again the next day. From that day, Leo worked harder than ever. Every morning at 4, he woke up, walked to the bakery, carried bread back to his town, and sold it with passion and energy. After 2 months of constant effort, he had saved enough to buy a small cart that helped him carry more bread and serve more customers. His little business began to grow. One afternoon, a regular customer suggested that Leo should bake his own bread instead of buying it. That way, he could earn more profit. The idea excited him, but it also frightened him. He had never baked anything in his life, yet he couldn't stop thinking about it. He realized that success, knowledge, and growth, all of them required effort and risk. Nothing in life was free. If he wanted to move forward, he had to learn. The next morning, after delivering payment to Mr. Anderson, Leo gathered courage and asked if the old man would teach him how to bake. Mr. Anderson frowned. He said teaching Leo would mean losing a customer. But Leo promised that he would never forget the man who gave him his first chance. If he succeeded, he would make sure to help Mr. Anderson's bakery as well. Something in Leo's voice touched the old man's heart, and after a pause, he agreed. He warned Leo that baking required patience, discipline, and endless practice. Leo began his lessons the very next day. He arrived at 3 in the morning, long before sunrise. Mr. Anderson showed him how to mix flour, knead dough, and bake it to perfection. The first few days were tough. His bread came out too hard or too soft. His arms ached from kneading. He felt frustrated and thought of giving up. But then he remembered his father's words about dreams not being free. He realized that every mistake was part of learning. Quitting would mean losing everything he had built, so he tried again, day after day. Slowly, his bread improved. His patience began to pay off. After 2 weeks, Mr. Anderson smiled for the first time and told him he was ready. Leo could hardly believe it. He rented a small oven, started baking bread at home, and sold it with pride. His family was amazed by his dedication. His little sister helped pack the bread, and his mother made tea while he worked late into the night. Soon, Leo's bread became famous in the town. People said his bread tasted better than any they had ever eaten. He began making cookies and pastries, too, adding more variety for his customers. But just when things were going well, a new bakery opened in town. It was owned by a young man named Eric who had a big fancy shop with bright signs and decorations. People were curious and started buying from him. Leo's sales began to drop. He felt anxious and afraid that he might lose everything he had built with so much effort. But instead of giving up, he decided to learn and improve. He asked his customers what they liked about Eric's bakery and what could make his better. They said Eric's shop looked cleaner, prettier, and his cakes were beautifully designed. Leo listened carefully and realized that he needed to grow not only as a baker, but also as a businessman. He used his savings to repaint his cart, add colorful decorations, and offer free samples of his new pastries. He spent evenings at the library learning cake decoration through videos and books. Slowly, customers started returning. They missed Leo's warm smile and the personal touch he gave to every loaf. One evening, an elderly woman told him that many young men give up when life becomes difficult, but he didn't. She said that was why people trusted him. Her words gave him renewed confidence. Months passed, and Leo's small stand turned into a cozy little bakery. He named it Leo's Fresh Bakes. It wasn't large, but it had heart. Every morning before sunrise, he baked fresh bread and opened his shop with a smile. His parents helped him run the business, and Sophie, now 11, loved serving customers. The bakery became the pride of their family and a favorite spot in town, but success never comes without tests. One stormy night, as Leo was closing his shop, he smelled smoke. A fire had started near the oven. He rushed to put it out, and though he managed to save the building, much of his equipment was destroyed. The next morning, people gathered outside his bakery. Some whispered that maybe his business was finished. Others wondered if he could recover. Leo felt broken inside, but he refused to let despair win. He looked at the ruins of his bakery and decided this was not the end. He had faced challenges before, and he would rise again. He counted his savings, but the money wasn't enough to replace everything. For a moment, he felt the weight of fear, but then he reminded himself of how far he had come, from selling bread with nothing to his name to building his own bakery. He went to see Mr. Anderson, who was now retired, and asked what he would do in this situation. The old man smiled and said that Leo already knew the answer. He just needed to keep working, keep believing, and people would believe in him too. Those words reignited his spirit. Leo started baking again from home using whatever tools he still had. He told his customers that he would continue serving them, even if it meant baking smaller quantities for now. The townspeople were deeply moved by his courage. Many came forward to help. Some donated ingredients, others offered money or helped him clean and repair the damaged bakery. Leo realized something beautiful, that when you truly work hard and never give up, people notice. They want to help those who help themselves. After several months of effort, Leo reopened his bakery. It looked brighter and better than ever. He painted the walls, added new decorations, and introduced cupcakes and muffins. On the grand reopening day, the mayor visited and praised him for his dedication and spirit. The whole town celebrated Leo as an example of determination and resilience. Standing in front of the crowd, Leo thanked everyone for their support. He said that his journey had taught him that nothing in life is free, not success, not respect, not love. Everything must be earned through patience, hard work, and consistency. Every failure carries a lesson, and every challenge hides an opportunity. From that day, Leo's bakery became more than a business. It became a symbol of hope for everyone in town. People came not just for the bread, but for the inspiration his story gave. His life proved that dreams may be difficult, but they are never impossible. Hard work, faith, and perseverance can turn even the smallest beginning into something extraordinary. Leo's journey shows that if you never stop believing, You can rise from any setback. You can build not only success, but a life filled with respect, gratitude, and pride. And that's the true meaning behind nothing is free, because the things you work hardest for always become the most valuable.